ask me, Rob Anthony, what kind of dreams do you dream? They ask me this because I have achieved all conceivable dreams. They want to know, where do you go when you've motivated yourself into ultimate happiness? A form of perfection. What's your name, son?
John.
John? What do you reckon I tell him? No idea. I tell him I dream of motivating you. Motivating you all to reach the levels of happiness and perfection that I've already achieved. I dream of sharing. We're going to start small tonight. Some of you are here tonight because you're lonely. Found you out. The rest of you are here tonight because you do not realize that you are lonely. You are all lonely people. What's your name? Brooke. Do you feel lonely? Sometimes. Tonight I'm going to teach you how to find your perfect life partner, Brooke. I'll teach you all about it. What do you know about codependency, Brooke?
Well, I just got married in January.
So she knows all about it. John, what do you know about codependency? Nothing much. You think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a bad thing.
Bad thing. It is a bad thing. But you need someone you can depend on, right? And someone who can depend on you. Tonight I'm going to help you find your non-codependent, dependent. Say that back to me, John.
Non-codependent, dependent.
That's good. And again, louder.
Non-codependent, dependent.
Brooke, join in. Again.
Non-codependent, dependent.
Whole front row, help them out. Non-codependent. Everyone. Dependent. Don't stop. Clap. Dependent. Everyone. Non-codependent, dependent. Keep going. Louder. One more. And stop. Good group of people. Malleable. That's what I like to see. But how do you find your non-codependent, dependent? And you would get there, and you would get... The first step to finding them is you need to find a poem. A poem that's the same shape as your spirit. It's called a spirit poem. What's your name, sir? Chris. You got a spirit poem? Not yet. He's lucky. I'm selling a book at the door when you leave. It's called 101 Spirit-Shaped Poems to help you find your non-codependent, dependent. When you get that book, Chris, none of these poems are over 50 words long, okay? None of them are too long. Choose a poem that you feel like is the same shape as your spirit. Magazines, catalogs, newspapers, find the words from the poem, cut them out like a ransom note to your own heart. Put them in a hat. Brooke, you got a hat?
Yes.
Good. Put them in a hat. Large piece of cardboard covered in glue. Stand over the cardboard with the hat. Turn the hat. The poetry will fall down like snow. We call that snowetry. It's going to fall at 5 centimeters per second like cherry blossoms in the spring in Tokyo. Beautiful. If every single word of your poem lands the right way up, congratulations, Chris. You've chosen the correct spirit poem. If any of the words of the poem land the wrong way up, you destroy that cardboard, Brooke. You burn that hat, and you get another hat. That is not a step. You repeat the process over and over again. Keep doing the process till all of the words land the right way up. Once that happens, and it always happens, take a hairdryer. You got a hairdryer, sir? You do. Anyone who doesn't have a hairdryer, I'm also selling them at the door. They do not come with warranties. They will burn off your hair if you try to use them as a real hairdryer, but that's not going to stop me selling them in a bundle with the book for $179.95. You take the hairdryer, you dry your poem. Once your poem is dry, you take a thick black texture, free-range organic if you can get it. Draw around the outer words, the outline, color in the middle. Do not worry about covering up the words of the poem. Those words are meaningless now, Chris. All poetry is garbage. Okay? Take some scissors, cut out that shape. Cut it out, carry it with you everywhere you go for the rest of your life. When you meet someone you think you want to be in a relationship with, ask them to complete the same process. If the shape of their spirit interlocks perfectly like a piece of a puzzle with the shape of your spirit, then congratulations. You may have found your non-codependent, dependent. Let me tell you about Jason. Jason was a pilot. He flew all the planes. Big planes, little planes, medium-sized planes. He flew the ATR-72, the Airbus A380, the Antonov AN-225, the Beechcraft 1300, the Boeing 787, the Cessna 208, and the Cessna 404. He flew the Dornier 328, the Embraer 170, the Tupolev Tu-204, and the Saab 2000. He flew all the planes. All the planes. He flew from Geneva to Lisbon, from Berlin to Istanbul, and from Hamburg to Gothenburg. John, you ever flown a Beechcraft 1300 from Geneva to Lisbon? Jason had. Jason did. That's how Jason lived. He lived the pilot life. A lot of people don't live the pilot life. A lot of people are not pilots. Jason was a pilot, right? What was Jason? The pilot, that's right. Jason was married to Danielle. Jason and Danielle, they had 3 beautiful children. They had done everything you were supposed to do in a romantic relationship. They found each other physically attractive. They had compatible personalities. Similar senses of humor. They were sexually explorative. They enjoyed each other, John, physically, repeatedly, before they even got married. Oh, and I'm not saying I approve. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I approve of marriage. Okay? Thing is, hey, if we had more time, I could tell you some things. We could talk about marriage till the cows come home. I could tell you about double marriage, triple marriage. Tell you some things about super marriage. Blow your socks off. A lot of people aren't ready to hear about super marriage. The thing is, Jason and Danielle didn't know the first word of each other's spirit poem. Hell, Jason didn't even know the first word of his own spirit poem. What's your name on the end there, sir? Darcy. How the hell are you going to know if your spirit interlocks with your partner's spirit if you don't know your own spirit poem? You don't. You don't. You don't know. So it didn't matter how high Jason flew in the sky, his dreams were out of reach. He needed to get his head out of the clouds, needed to get his feet on the ground. He needed to humble himself. He needed to learn some poetry, John. He was arrogant. He was an arrogant man. Most pilots are arrogant men. One day, Jason was flying a Dornier 328 from Linz to Stockholm. Linz to Stockholm, and he felt this urge, a terrifying urge in his heart to fly that plane directly into the side of a mountain because of how lonely he was feeling. Like you, Brooke. You ever feel the urge to fly the plane of your life into a mountain? Sometimes. We'll talk after, and one of my counselors is going to come talk to you afterwards. You're not all just lonely, you're all lonely pilots. You got to turn the pilot light on. Get your head out of the clouds, or you will fly that plane into a mountain of regret. Jason didn't fly into that mountain. He didn't even fly to Stockholm. He went west. He flew west to Toronto, Canada, where I was holding my intensive 3-day course on perfect life partners. He walked in 1 hour. Excellent. You said excellent. What's your name, ma'am? Sue. Excellent, she says. You're so correct. Jason walked into the room 1 hour late into the first session. I said, "What's your name, son?" And he said, "My name's Jason." I said, "What do you do, Jason?" And he said, "I'm a pilot." And in that moment, I could see in his eyes the brokenness, the loneliness, Sue, in his heart. I said to him, "Those mountains are starting to look pretty damn good, weren't they?" You know what, Chris? Jason started to cry. And through the tears, he sobbed. "Yes, they were, Rob. Yes, they were." Jason stayed for the next 3 days at that seminar. He paid his $25,000. He learned how to drop his spirit poem. He learned how to dance with his donut. Sue, you ever danced with a donut? No. What defines a donut? We're going to sit in this. What defines a donut, Sue? Muck. Sweet muck. That's the name of my first self-help book. John, what defines a donut? Couldn't tell me. Chris, what defines a donut? We'll keep going.
The empty bit in the middle.
The hole. Yes, Sue, the hole defines the donut. But tell me, Brooke, is the hole part of the donut?
Yeah.
But a hole's not made of anything. There's holes everywhere. The donut is everything but the hole, yet it is defined by the hole. Right? That's what temptation does to our lives. The emptiness inside us can define us, but it is not part of us. We are the sweet muck, Sue. We are the sweet muck. So you gotta dance around that donut. Gotta dance around the donut. That was all a few years ago. These days, Jason is triple married to a Greek man named Hector. He's on good terms with Danielle. They have the kids every weekend. He still flies, he still flies high. But now, with Hector, his non-codependent, dependent, his feet are finally on the ground. So the science tells me, and I follow, John, you follow the science? No? God damn. I follow the science, and the science tells me, the latest research says that human beings can't listen to another human being for more than 15 minutes without subconsciously starting to lose focus. So I've structured tonight's session, into 3 parts. Closing the show from New York City, we have a philosopher, a comedian, Marlton Malone. But right now, we have a trained marriage counselor. Please make him welcome Australian legend, Gareth Mosley. So, tonight we're going to talk about marriage. Yeah? No one knows more about marriage than your old mate me, Gareth Mosley. No one. No one. I got a Cert 4 in marriage counselling. From TAFE, from CIT, during COVID. Yes, around. A little bit of an applause there. What was your name, man? Sue. Nice to meet you, Sue. How was your COVID, Sue? Not the illness. No, let me just say to everyone here, a bit of a disclaimer. If I start asking you personal medical details during the show, then everything's off the rails, you know? No, I mean the general, like the lockdowns, the Zooms, the general upheaval. You can laugh at that. Quiet. Lots of exercise. Yeah, good. Good. Lots of exercise. What's lots of exercise, sir? Lots of running. Lots of swimming. Excellent. Did your work get affected by COVID? You don't work. Lots of exercise. Where are you, John? Did your work get affected?
Not by much.
Not by much. You didn't have to retool, reskill. You didn't have to pivot. Didn't have to do a COVID pivot. No. What about you, sir? What's your name? Finn. Did you have to do a COVID pivot?
Yeah, well, I was at school.
You're at school. Had to do a COVID. How many letters are in the word COVID, Finn? 5. How many letters are in the word pivot? 5. What's the middle letter of both words? V. And what's that in Roman numerals? You don't have to look far. It's staring us in the face. It's all there. Clear as day. Some people say it's controversial. I don't think it's controversial, Finn. So my normal job before I became a marriage counsellor, I was a professional comedian, but all the gigs dried up. There were no live comedy. You couldn't get together like this. This is good, isn't it? This is good. It's good to be back. But we couldn't work, so I had to do a COVID pivot, get a Cert 4 in marriage counselling. I call it marriage counselling. The degree was actually, it's relationship counselling, but I figured, like, if you're not married and you have to go see a counsellor, just cut it off. Like that'll do. There's 8 billion people in the world. Find someone you get on better with. Like, fucking, right? Am I crazy? I've got enough broken people to fix without fixing the ones that can't be fixed, right? Maybe that's what I learnt at TAFE. Cut them loose, kill your darlings. Is that I don't know. Fuck. There we go. But the thing is, when we get you married, right, the front row. So, and what was your name, sir? Lloyd. You're married. Good. Indeed. Fuck, that's a confident. You're very married. More married than most people here, he says. I only let married people buy tickets to my shows, Lloyd. So, no, I'm just kidding. I don't. No, so we'll get into that. We'll do a bit of healing in a minute. But before we do that, we got to get to know each other a bit first, because there's no healing without trust, is there? There's no healing. What was your name? Yeah? Katrina. There's no healing without trust, is there? No, there's none. None. So to start, let me just say welcome. This is, as a comedian, this is my office. So welcome to my office. This is the cubicle. This is the factory floor. This is where the work gets done. This is where we examine our lives. Yeah, Katrina, this is where we examine. What's the saying? A life worth examined is a half life lived. Is that the? Is that the saying? Lloyd, is that the saying? Is that the? It's got to be. Fuck, I read. I do read. Do I look like I read? I look very illiterate. Indeed. No, look, I mean, I do. Do you read, Lloyd? I do read. What's your favourite book?
Book. You say book. Sydney Morning Herald cover.
Do you read books, Lloyd? What's your favourite book?
Favourite book? The big one of Peter Fitzsimon's book.
One of them. One of them. Which one's... Okay, what's your least favourite book then?
East to Brook.
To Brooke. Fuck, Brooke. Jesus. Peter Fitzsimmons is sending books to you and Lloyd fucking hates them. That's nuts. Fucking throwing shade to the person sitting directly next to you during a marriage counselling course. Fuck. COVID really is over, isn't it? The brotherhood's done. We're all one for all. Fucking Katrina, what do you read? Autobiographies. Did you have a book at school you had to read that you hated? Like Looking for Alibrandi? Animal Farm, did you say? Romulus, My Father. Yeah. Anyone else hate that book? Does anyone else here know what books are, Lloyd? Fucking hell. Look, I do read, I'll admit, but when I say I read, I mean I jump on Wikipedia and I look up the books and read the plot synopsis. Did you say that's what you used to do? Fucking hell, Lloyd, you're getting burned. It's just attack the person to your right. That's the new rule. Oh, crazy. No, I do it properly, though. I read the whole synopsis, you know. I read the whole synopsis, John. I click the little numbers, you know, there's a little link, there's little numbers all through Wikipedia. Some of you are thinking, who is that for? Who does that? Fucking me. I'm clicking the numbers, digging deep. I always dug deep. I always went further. 7 years old, I was on the fucking stock exchange, you know? Not as a commodity. I hadn't been floated. I was buying and selling. 7 years old, that's fucking industry. That's fucking hard work, you know? And this was before the apps too. These days it's easy. It's easy, isn't it, sir? Fucking, do you trade? What's your name, mate?
Luke.
Luke, do you day trade?
No.
No. You could. With these apps. It's easy. This was before the apps. This was the 1980s. You needed a fucking newspaper. Do you know what a newspaper is? So every day, they print off a little bit of the internet for old people. Just the new stuff. Just a little bit. A teaser. We're trying to bring him across, migrate the herd, you know? Some of them don't want to learn. Some of them learn too quick, don't they, Lloyd? Fucking hell. So the thing is, the problem was, trading with the newspaper, 7 years old, I'd learned how to read, but my dad didn't believe in paying for newspapers. That's fucked, isn't it? He wouldn't facilitate my fucking shares, my buying, my selling, my hunt of the All Ordinaries Index. So I had to steal the newspaper from the neighbours at night from their bins. I had to sneak. Everyone had gone to bed, everyone was asleep. I'd sneak out the window and I'd go steal the newspaper from the next door neighbours' bins. But it was dark, so I could really only read it by moonlight. So I could only trade on a full moon. Right? Only trade on a full moon like a werewolf. A werewolf of the stock market. A stock wolf, they used to call me. Running through the night, howling, oh, fucking chasing the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones, chomping, you know, fucking stock wolf. Fucking, it sounds a bit like a movie. Do you know the movie? What's that movie title that sounds a bit like?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Fuck, Wolf of... That's a good one, actually. No, I was thinking the stocks of Wolf Creek, but now I've got two examples. So thank you for that. That's good. That's good. I mean, the thing is, though, it was tough. It was tough going as a 7-year-old. Had to wait for the full moon. Cloudy night, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it, Lloyd. Lunar eclipse, couldn't do it. The Venn diagram of when I could actually fucking trade was it was minimal, you know? In a lot of ways, the lunar eclipse is nature's Venn diagram, isn't it? Blue circles coming here. Just as fucking useful too. What's the Venn diagram for? What do you do with it? Anyway, 7 years old, stock wolf. By 10, I'd moved on. Found it too frustrating. I got into Formula One. Any fans of Formula One in the room tonight? Fucking not many. I was working in the pits. I was fixing punctured tyres. I was the best in the game, 10 years old, John. 10 years old fixing tyres. It was incredible. I could fix any punctured tyre. I wasn't working for one team. I was working across the pits. They'd call me. They'd say, get that 10-year-old. I could fix any puncture with a 10-pack of Connies and 500 mils of... So I don't like saying this bit because I always lose about 85% of the crowd when I say it. But we're not here to laugh. We're here for the truth, aren't we, Colin? So I'd fix any fucking punctured tyre with a 10-pack of Connies and 500 mils of mucus. Anal mucus. That's rough, right? Some people laugh too hard at that. Down the end there. What did you eat, sir? What did you eat you weren't supposed to? Maybe it's a personal medical thing for me to think. Fuck, I don't know. Brooke, what's your Medicare number? You couldn't, or you can't, or you won't?
Little column A.
Little column A, little column B. Fuck. Do you go to the doctors? Anyway, fuck. I went to the doctors the other week. I went, it was a bit chesty. Went to the doctors. I go to see Dr. Fredericks. John, do you see Dr. Fredericks? No. I called up 801. I don't book it in with the apps because I don't know how they fucking work. So 801, I called up, that's when they open. You know, you try and call up early, Lloyd, to get in. You know, you want to fucking get in quick to get in that day when you're actually sick. And they're like, yeah. I said, can I see Dr. Fredericks? They said, yes. 1:15. I was like, oh, good. Fuck, that's good. They said 1:15 in 3 weeks' time. Always happens, doesn't it, Brooke? Yeah. I said, can I see someone today? The person on the other end is like, well, you can see Dr. Wolfenstein today. I'm like, I don't know Dr. Wolfenstein. I said, what's the deal? And they say he's new. He's from Lithuania. He's on from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and he's got no bookings. So his 4 p.m.'s just opened up. So I thought, fuck, okay. I said, put me down. Not like that. God. No, so I show up 10 minutes late. Half an hour later, Dr. Wolfenstein comes out, calls my name. I follow him into the room and he says, how are you? You fucking hate when they say how are you. The doctor says, how are you? You're there because you're sick and he says, how are you? Like, what does he want? He knows I'm sick. Does he want the truth? I could tell him. I could tell you. He could say, how are you? I'd say, I have no barriers to my dreams. I live in the first world. I've got food on the table, roof over the head, access to education, access to healthcare, freedom to vote, freedom to protest. I don't suffer any sexual discrimination, no racial discrimination, no gender discrimination. And yet I feel lost. You can laugh at that, John. I don't tell him that. I just say, no, I'm a bit chesty, I'm a bit sick. So he says, lift up your shirt. He puts a metal circle on my chest. He says, breathe in. So I'm like... He says, again. You know. He says, turn around. And I look at him and he says, turn around. And I say, bright eyes. And he doesn't get it. Because he's from Lithuania. He doesn't know the song. I don't even know where Lithuania is. Katrina, do you know where Lithuania is? Next to Estonia. Do you know, Luke, do you know where Estonia is?
Next to Lithuania.
Next to... Round of applause for that. That's fucking good. I assume, Lloyd, are they both in the USSR? No. What's the deal with the USSR? USSR, USA, ASMR. You know, like... America. Vladimir Putin. Cold War. Anyway, so 7 years old, I was a stock wolf. 10 years old, Formula One anal muke petrol head. Smart kid is what I'm saying. I was a smart kid. The teachers used to say, Gareth, you're very fucking smart. And I'd say, I fucking know I am. And then they'd say, can you please stop throwing chairs into the back of the heads of other kids during the math test? And I'd say, no, I can't. I'm a free spirit. I'm a wild child. I'm not like the other boys. 13 years of age, I got a job at a book exchange. Sue, do you know what a book exchange is? They exchange books. Fucking right. So, Lloyd, books are these things where... Yeah, pages full of words. No, a book exchange is a bit of government funding. You drop a book off, you can take any book away you want as long as it's in good nick. As long as the book's in good nick, you know. Fuck, book's in good nick. Sounds like a dude who plays for fucking Real Madrid, doesn't it? Book's in good nick with the fucking winning goal. Anyway, going down a fucking road. Anyway, so book exchange, as long as the book's in okay condition, you can swap it for any other book. I worked there for about 18 months, right? But after 18 months, they had to close down because we did a stock take. Stockwolf did a stock take, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Anyway. And every single book in that room was fucking Romulus, my father. Anyway, that's who I am. We get to know each other now. We know each other. You two, how long have you been married for? 40-something years. 43, she says. 43. Fucking long, huh? Round of applause. Do you fucking... Yeah, that's amazing. 43 is actually way more than I would have picked. You got married the day you were born. Is that... Jesus Christ. Exercising every day, people. Anyway, do you remember your wedding day? Yeah. Special day, right? Turn up for the books. He says fucking yes, she says I don't know. Special day for the couple. They're making a promise to God, right? Promise to God to marry someone, love someone. No, do you hate God? Is that a yes? No. I don't have time to get into the whole theological thing. Fucking definitely don't have time. No, so, fuck. Most people make a promise to God. A lot of people make a promise to God. 100,000 people get married every day. God's up there just getting promises thrown at him left, right and centre. Crazy. I got my Cert 4 in marriage counselling, but you can't just get a 4 out of the blue, can you? You need a 1, 2 and a 3. I got my 2 on credit. I went to 6 Zoom weddings in a month. Screenshotted all of them, took it into TAFE. They gave me a Cert 2 in marriage counselling. Now, the tricky thing here is you can't do a Cert 3 and a Cert 4 in parallel, but I wanted to get working because they do it they have the alternating semesters, you know what I mean? So I would have had to wait another 6 months. So I did a Cert 3 in commercial cookery. Right? So I got commercial cookery, Cert 3. So I'm a culinary counsellor. Because people who've done therapy, more power to you, you'll know that therapy is just you tell someone your problems, they repeat it back to you in a metaphor. Right? They'll say, you sound like you're starved of affection. Or your fridge is very full. All of my metaphors are food-based, if you can tell. Culinary counsellor, right? You know, I'm not afraid to tell someone that marriage is not all ice cream and sprinkles, is it, Lloyd? Sometimes you have to eat your veggies. You got to cook your broccoli. Sometimes you need to have some Metamucil. You know, like, sometimes you have to eat a taco. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, fucking enthusiastic. You have a lucky wife, sir. You got to get the spice in the relationship, don't you, Katrina? You got to be sweet. You can't be too sour. You can't be too bitter. You don't want to be too salty, you'll ruin the dish, you know? And I'll tell a couple when their marriage is cooked. I'll fucking tell them, you know, and I'll tell them the solution too. You have to go raw. And that's a challenge I'm going to put out there to every married couple, every couple in the room. When you get home tonight, try going raw, yeah? That's my 15 minutes. Please, you've been fantastic. Please welcome to the stage now your final speaker, all the way from New York City, Mr. Marlon Malone. Hey everybody, how we doing? So my name is Marlon Malone. I'm a club comic from New York City, half Irish, half Italian. Say I'm half Irish, half Italian. That's right, that's right. What were we talking? He was talking about food, right? Yeah. Food, so food, I love food. Love to eat, man, I love to eat. You like to eat? Yeah. You like to eat, yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
What's your favorite food?
Steak.
Steak, from where?
Oh, anywhere.
Anywhere? Anywhere?
Not anywhere.
Not anywhere. What about you right here? What's your favorite food? Donuts. John, what do you like to eat? What's your favorite food? Pizza. What type of pizza? Let's get specific.
Barbecue meat feast.
Barbecue meat feast. Where do you get that from? Anywhere. Sounds very specific, like a specific brand name of pizza. Grease Monkey's good. You ever had a Bonsquani? A Bonsquani sandwich? No? What about you? You ever had a Bonsquani sandwich from Sandici's? On 81st? You know 81st Street. Anyone here had a Bonsquani sandwich from Sandici's on 81st? No? Anyone here ever been to New York City? Who? You been to New York City? No? Who said that? You been in the last 6 weeks? No, then you ain't really been. The city never sleeps. The city always changes. It's called evolution. You believe in evolution? Absolutely. What are you, a scientist? Look, we'll get on to that in a minute. I'll put it this way. I'll take a girl out to dinner, but if she ain't a scientist, we're splitting the bill, you know? This is how it is, right? No, the Bonsquani sandwich is such a good sandwich that if you ain't had a Bonsquani sandwich before, it's like you've never had a sandwich at all. That's how good they are. You look so skeptical. Right there, behind Lloyd. What's your name? Beck. You look a little skeptical about this Bonsquani sandwich. You a believer?
I'm interested.
You're interested. Are you a believer?
I'm waiting to hear.
Waiting to hear. So you're not a believer.
Yeah, I guess I'm listening.
Are you a believer or a believer? I'm a listener. That's good. You'd be a good therapist, I believe. About right here. You a believer?
Yeah.
You believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Why do you believe in aliens?
I don't know. They just, there's got to be something.
There gotta be something.
Gotta be something.
Crazy. Look, I don't know if aliens are real. Like, I don't know if they're real. But if aliens came down to Earth and had a Bonsquani sandwich from Sandici's on 81st Street, it's over. It's a wrap. They ain't leaving. You know what I mean? That's it. They're gonna put their phones on silent, leave the galaxy on red. You know what I mean? Katrina, you leave people on red?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, proud about it. Malicious. Brooke, you leave people on red? No. I like the contrast. She was proud to say yes, and you're ashamed to say no. You're like, I wish I was more malicious. I wish I was meaner. It's good, it's good. These aliens be getting messages from the galaxy, like, where you at? When you coming home, aliens be sitting there eating a Bonsquani, looking at the messages. No. Right? Because the Bonsquani's so good, right? That's how good it is. Such a good sandwich. On the end. Sorry?
What's in it?
What's in it? Let me ask you a question. If you go to a diner, like a nice New York diner, and you got a choice between a table and a booth, what you gonna choose? A booth every time. It's the correct answer every time. You gotta, yes, round of applause. Don't really. So, you have too many of those already. So booth, you choose a booth every time. Aliens would be in a booth. 6 aliens tacked around like in a horseshoe booth eating Bonsquanis. Sandici's is open 24/7, man. They ain't closing. You can get a Bonsquani sandwich 4 in the morning, 11 a.m., 3 p.m. They be on a 24-hour Bonsquani sandwich cycle, right? Right. Eating those sandwiches. The sandwiches are so good. They're made by the head chef at Sandici's, Gigi Panettone. You heard of Jiki? No, you don't have the Food Channel? Sandwiches of the World, episode 34? Jiki Panettone, man, he's so cool. Man, we used to go to mid-school together. Jiki, man, Jiki's cheeky. Me and Jiki went to mid-school at St. Theobald's on 43rd and Grant. You heard of that? No. So you ain't heard of St. Theobald's on 43rd and Grant? It's the best mid-school in New York City, bar none. Bar none, especially if you want to steal some birdhouses. And man, did me and Jiki ever want to steal some birdhouses. We stole so many birdhouses. I had 188 birdhouses in my backyard. We didn't even have a backyard. Stack them up on the roof of my parents' apartment block. I had 188 birdhouses. The birds used to love it. The birds loved coming there every time. So many birds. So many birds, I couldn't tell them apart. Had to start giving them names so I could tell them apart, give them little name tags. Anyone here got pets? You got pets? You got a pet? You put your hand up at the bed. What's your pet's name?
Scout.
Scout, what is it, a dog?
Yeah, it's
A little dog? Why'd you call it Scout?
from To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Should have asked you if you read. Hell, that was a different person anyway. Scout, that's a good name. It's tough, though, choosing a good name for an animal or for anything, right? It's difficult. So I had so many birds to name. I was going to St. Theobald's. I started naming them after saints, right? It makes sense. Started naming so many names of saints. Started naming the birds after saints. What I didn't realize, though, was that when you name a bird after a saint, the soul of that saint gets ripped out of heaven and gets trapped in the body of the bird. And that bird then has to do 3 more miracles to get back up into heaven. That's crazy, right? You can imagine if you are a saint, you're up in heaven singing Hosanna on high, right? Fucking with all the angels and the heavenly host. You're up there. You did 3 miracles 1,000 years ago. You think you're safe. And then I name a bird after you, and you get your ass dragged down back to New York City in the late 90s? My favorite bird was St. Augustine, by far. You know St. Augustine? Anyone here know their saints? No? Born 13th November? Year 354? No one knows? In Algeria? They didn't call it Algeria back then, but I don't have time for a history lesson. So St. Augustine, man, that bird was an absolute saint. Used to love that dried seed, man, every day. Trying to do miracles, eating bird seed all the time, just eating that bird seed, peck, peck. He loved it every day until one day when he got eaten by a cat. Oh, he's right. Got any cat people in the crowd tonight? Who's a good? Put your hand up. You got a cat. You got a cat right here. What's your cat's name?
Good too. Tina and Annabelle.
Tina and Annabelle. Those are good names. That's good. You know cats then. You got cats. You know how they are. I'm gonna say you don't really know cats until you have seen a cat kill and eat a bird, with the knowledge in your heart that that bird is the vessel of the eternal soul of a saint. And that when the bird in front of you dies, its soul doesn't go back up to heaven. It doesn't go down to hell. It's an animal. It just disappears. That's some dark shit, right? That's dark. That bird, St. Augustine, had completed 2 miracles as a bird. Do you know how hard it is to complete a miracle, period? Let alone as a bird. They ain't got no special powers, Lloyd. They're just birds. He needed... A bird flying isn't a special power. I see what you're saying, like flying. If that was a miracle, all the birds... Anyway, no. He needed 1 more miracle to get back up into heaven, but that cat got him. Oh. Let me just check. We got cat people or dog people in the crowd. Make some noise. I mean, everyone likes both a little bit, right? But you like dog people? Make some noise. Cat people? Make some noise. Right, so the dog people will be happy to hear this. Dog, D-O-G, you split the letters around, it's D-O-G-G-O-D. It's that holy animal, the number 1 animal connected to God. That's why so many dogs love unconditionally, right? Now, cat, C-A-T, that comes from S-A-T, from the first 3 letters of Satan. The devil, right? They love conditionally, right? You know about the devil, right? You guys know about the devil? Yeah? You know about the devil? I mean, What you know about the devil? Naughty. The devil is naughty. Fair enough. That's true. Got his ass kicked out of heaven, fallen angels. That's right. So the king cat, the devil, he heard about what happened with St. Augustine. And so he started sending little demons up to 43rd Street to possess all the stray cats on that street. Little demon tabbies now hunting all my saintly pigeons. Trying to fuck God up, right? Trying to kill all these pigeons. Saints versus demons. It was the war, the late 90s War of the Heavenly Hosts in New York City. That was that. That's what that was. A lot of people blame me for that happening. Like God came to me in a dream and he said, this is your fault, Marlon. Specifically. But people will know God doesn't take shit lying down. We got some fans of God in the crowd. Make some noise. No one got Godheads in the crowd? No Godheads? Anyone read his book? Read his autobiography? No one? No one read his book at all? Yeah? What's the main takeaway from that book? It sucks. No, like the message. I'm glad Gareth didn't ask you about book reading. No, the main takeaway message from the book, if there's one message, that's the one message of the book.
Everyone is evil.
Everyone is evil. Has anyone read the Bible? No, the main message of the Bible, and when you hear it, you'll be like, oh, I know that, yeah. The main message of the Bible is that God likes to clap back, you know. You fuck with God, he's gonna fuck you up. You know, this dude, he destroys whole cities. He turns people into pillars of salt, you know. He sends a plague. I got a bad temper. I never send no one on a plague. This dude flooded the whole planet, right? Drowned everybody, pretty much. That's crazy. Angry dude, so you don't fuck with God. So the devil's pushing his luck, sending these demon tabbies after these saintly birds, right? The Andean condor is the largest bird in the world. Well, I mean, ostriches and emus are bigger birds, but they're big birds like Big Bird is a big bird, right? Like they ain't flying, right? So it's like a bird that can't fly. It's like a fish that can't swim. What's the fucking point, right? So the Andean condor is the largest flying bird in the world. They have 3-meter wingspan, right? Those little saintly pigeons, they weigh about half a pound. These demon tabbies, they weigh 10 pounds. That's not a fair fight. God sent an Andean condor to come live on the roof of my parents' apartment block, and all I had to do was give it a name. So I named it St. Michael, the archangel, the one who kicked the devil out of heaven in the first place. Got his soul trapped in the body of that Andean condor. Those things weigh 30 pounds. Right? The tabby stopped coming around. Been scared of that big bird. But the devil wasn't finished. He went down to the Brooklyn Zoo, to the large cat enclosures. He broke himself down into the 7 different faces of the devil. You know about the 7 faces of the devil? You heard about the 7 deadly sins? He picked 7 large cats, let them out of their cages, possessed each one. We had Lucifer, the prideful lion. Beelzebub, the jealous jaguar. Abaddon, the lazy lynx. Satanus, the wrathful snow leopard. Mammon, the greedy tiger. Belphegor, the gluttonous cougar. Got any gluttonous cougars in the crowd tonight? Come see me. Anyway, and the 7th one was Asmodeus, the lustful cheetah. A lot of people think all cheetahs are lustful. Some of them are just lonely. So those 7 hellcats, they went after St. Michael. He had to flee out to Jersey. I can remember the silhouette flying over the Hudson River. And these 7 hellcats, they went hard on these saintly pigeons, massacring them. But God then had to make the next move. He sent 2 more birds. He sent a harpy eagle and a Saris crane, the 2nd and 3rd biggest birds. I named them Rafael and Gabriel after the 2 other archangels. They went down to Jersey to the trash yard and found St. Michael, formed a triumvirate. They started picking off these hellcats one by one, locking them up, scaring the devil out of them, right? And that's how God won that late 90s War of the Heavenly Hosts. But it doesn't end there. Jiki Panettone's got a big mouth. We go back to Sondici's, flash forward, right? He's telling these aliens in the booth all about me giving names to birds. Right? The head alien, after this conversation, comes up to me and he's like, yo, Jiki told us you're good at giving names. We don't have names. The planet we're from, there's more electricity in the air, so we're just psychic. We just have psychic imprints. We don't have names. We don't need names. They didn't know they needed names because they didn't know what names was. If you don't know what a name is, you don't know you need a name, right? But when you know what a name is, you need a name, you know? So he says to me, can you give us names? And I said, look, I can, but I don't know how it's going to turn out. Last time it was some bad shit, right? And he said, no, we trust you. And it's like, cool. Get all the aliens, all 6 aliens come out of the booth. We go to the storeroom at the back. I take out my table, my periodic table of elements, right? I carry it on me everywhere I go. It's my spirit poem. Like I said, if she ain't a scientist, we're splitting the bill, right? I put it on the wall. We play a little game called Pin the Tail on the Elephant, because I call it the periodic table of elephants because I think it sounds cuter, right? It's like Pin the Tail on the donkey, right, John? So they all get blindfolded. They come and put a thing on it. They get named after the element they chose. So the head alien's name is now Radon Elephant. He's now half elephant, and he can irradiate people. We got now next one, boron elephant, calcium elephant, tin elephant, copper elephant. The last one is hydrogen elephant. You ever seen a hydrogen elephant?
No.
How would you know? It's an invisible gas. As soon as I named it hydrogen elephant, it broke off into 1 billion particles and spread out across the whole world. There's a hydrogen elephant particle in this room right now. That's what that's saying. The elephant in the room is talking about. That hydrogen elephant. And so head alien, radon elephant, trust me now, right? He comes up to me, he says, I gotta tell you a secret. We didn't come here just to explore, to have sandwiches. We came here to exterminate humanity because you were fucking up your planet. Our job is to go around making sure the galaxy's all right. Sue, you're nodding, you know what I'm talking about, right? Because humans are garbage, right? Like, you're cool, but you're garbage, right? No, so he says, but now that we've had a Bon Squanny sandwich, we know if we get rid of the humans, we're getting rid of Jiki, and we can't get rid of the best sandwich in the whole damn galaxy. So we're going to stick around and help you out. That's how good a Bon Squanny sandwich is. It saved all of you from extinction. That's how good the sandwich is. Katrina, you ever, when you do bad stuff, like you make a mistake, do you ever call yourself a bad name? Like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, everyone does that. Everyone does that, right? When we do that, it actually has an effect on us. We don't realize it, right? Because the things we say have an effect, you know? Whether it's like a bird that's a saint, or the best sandwich in the galaxy, or a hydrogen elephant, the things we call things matters. You know, we should call ourselves good names. We should call our friends, family, good names. Call our partners good names, yeah? You know that little game you play like when you're a kid where the floor is like fire or water or like you can't touch it. You got to stay on the couch or the bed, right? You all know that game, right? Yeah. I still play that game every night. My bed becomes an airplane and my partner is my Moonlight pilot, you know, helping me through the night. You got to call people good things, you know, because words control your thoughts because your thoughts is words, right? Control your feelings, control your happiness. You want to be a saint, you can be a saint. You want to be lovable, be loving. And if you want to be an elephant, be an elephant. Thank you very much.